Dear brothers and sisters, when a person is being tested, there are often a few questions that come to their minds that surround the pain of that trial or that test. You know, one of the things that they talk about is the need for closure. And the need for closure is in multiple ways. In one way, a person needs to feel like they can see the end of that trial within their own lifetime or within sight. On the other hand, it's also a form of closure to be able to come to terms with why or why not, and what the purpose of is this, and what purpose it serves in my life. Is it bringing me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is this happening to me because of something that I've done? And when you're in the midst of a trial, it's a lot harder to grapple with those questions when it's so much easier to give that advice to someone else when they're in it. You know, we grow up our whole lives reciting Surah Al-Duha. You understand the idea of a burden that is at some point lifted. But when you're in the midst of a trial, there are certain elements that can really bring all of those concepts into question and cause you to question yourself. Amongst them is the idea of Allah punishing me because of something that I might have done. And that usually comes when there is some sort of prolonged nature to this test or trial. Or when the trial comes when I feel like I was at the best state of my faith. I feel like this was a time when I was doing everything right, and that's when this all came. Or trials come, in succession. And that's usually the way that it works. One hits you, and then the next one hits you, and then the next one hits you. You start asking these questions like, what have I done? What did I do for this to happen? Is there some sort of punishment that is behind this? Is it some sort of disobedience that I have committed? And a question that I get asked multiple times is, how do I know if I'm passing the test? And this is really where I want to focus on, inshaAllah ta'ala, towards the end of this khutbah. How do I know if I'm passing the test? I know I'm being tested. It's very obvious right now. How do I know if I'm passing this test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now, first and foremost, I want to cover this concept from the perspective of punishment. The reason being, because we have to actually ask the question, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punish people in this life for their deeds? Is this the place where punishment takes place? You read about nations of the past that were destroyed, but we know that this is not the norm of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with nations post what we read about of those destroyed nations in the past. Overall, there's a loss of barakah, there's a loss of blessing. There could be destruction that comes upon a people of tyranny, and we know that tyranny provokes